Well guys, welcome into today's video. Hope you're all doing great out there. As always, in this video here today, I'm going to share with you 5 stocks that I think could be my next $1 million stocks, okay? And here's the deal with this video here today. None of these stocks I currently own. I'm currently researching all the stocks that I'm sharing with you here today, okay? I'm seeing some promising things from all 5 of these stocks, okay? And so it's definitely possible I could buy at least one of these stocks, if not multiple of these different stocks. And I have $0 in all of these stocks here at the moment as of recording this video. And this is for those 11 folks out there that say, hey man, you never talk about a stock until you already own it, okay? This is that video for you guys to enjoy out there, where I'm going to get into some stocks that I'm actually researching and don't have any money invested in yet. So hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, hope this video makes you happy. Don't forget to smash, as always, that helps our YouTube channel out in a massive way. It helps the videos out. It lets me know you guys enjoy a video like this where I get into some new stocks I don't even own yet that I'm researching, and I do appreciate that in a huge way. If you're looking to apply for my private stock group, that's going to be linked in the description down there. We've helped ridiculous amounts of folks scale to 6 figures, 7 figures, and even 8 figures in the stock market now. So if you're looking to take your investing to much higher levels, be part of the private Discord chat, all those sorts of things, you can do so. That is linked down there in the description to apply to try to join that group. I'll also might be the pinned comment. Alrighty guys, let's get into this. The first stock of these 5 stocks up here is PLTR Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR on this one, okay? It's about a $24, $25 stock here today, about a $45 billion market cap. This is a data-related company. They also want to use artificial intelligence to basically help out companies make much better decisions for their businesses overall, right? The 52-week range in the stock is crazy, anywhere from $8.90 to $45. You know, some of that's before the SPAC, some of that was after, and like just a lot of excitement around this. Products such as Foundry and Gotham are supposed to be huge for this company long term. And these are the type of products that are supposed to help this company grow into its valuation over time. We just saw a partnership very recently with IBM that gives, you know, the PLTR essentially a massive sales staff overall. And PLTR should be in massive expansion mode for the next 5 to 10 years essentially, okay? And actually build like a business that works with a lot of the big companies out there, maybe much of the Fortune 500 over time, and get recurring revenue streams that are in the millions or tens of millions of dollars for many of these companies, okay? Look at the revenue growth expected for this company. It is nothing to laugh at, right? 35% revenue growth expected for this company in 21. As far as 22, 31% revenue growth is expected. Some folks even believe maybe they're sandbagging those numbers. It's a new public company to the markets, right? And so maybe they're kind of sandbagging numbers a little bit. This company's coming off at like 47% revenue growth. So, you know, maybe they keep up that 40% plus. Obviously, that would be really exciting for the stock. Now, if you're looking at valuation-wise for this company, obviously it's not just about the growth potential for this company and what the business has. It's about the price-to-sales ratio, right? For a company like this, right? Because they're not making profits yet, so you can't compare them on a P ratio or something like that. So you're really looking at price-to-sales ratio, okay? So based upon what they're supposed to have coming in through the front door, okay, revenue-wise, in 2021, this company's trading at a price-to-sales ratio of about 30 right now, right? $45 billion market cap, about $1.5 billion expected in revenue, so that's about a 30 price-to-sales ratio, okay? Now, that's pretty darn high in the market overall, and that kind of trades in line with even a stock like I own, such as Shopify, right? And these type of business models, anything, you know, whether it be e-commerce related or software related, data related, all those sorts of business models, they generally just trade rich, right? Shopify is supposed to do a little over $4 billion in revenue this year. You go ahead and run those numbers on Shopify. Shopify is trading at basically a price to sales ratio for 2021 of about 33. And like I said, for, you know, it's certainly not cheap for companies like, you know, PLTR or Shopify, but at the end of the day, these business models are pretty special long term. Let's just put it that way. I mean, you think about Shopify, I mean, imagine where they're going to be in 5 or 10 years. You think about this PLTR company where they're going to be in 5 to 10 years, okay? And it's pretty darn exciting. A stock like I hold, GGTTF, right? You know, that one trades, a lot of people say that one trades really rich, right? Obviously, they're in a way different industry than those stocks, but that one trades at like an 8 to 12 price to sales ratio, just for reference. And that's actually got much more rapid growth than something like a Shopify or a PLTR. But needless to say, a lot of people love these sorts of business models like Palantir has. Now keep in mind, ARK Invest, Cathie Wood, what have they been buying recently? Well, one of the stocks is Palantir Technologies is up to their 20th biggest holdings in the ARK Next Generation Internet ETF, okay? I mean, they've been adding that one pretty darn aggressively. They're up to, $126 million worth of shares now. I mean, up to like 5.2 million shares of Palantir they now own over there at ARK Invest. So this is a business model that seems pretty darn special. It seems like the long-term TAM in front of this company is massive, okay? And for me, it's just trying to figure out what the realistic TAM this company can get over the next 5 to 10 years. That's what I'm trying to research right now and understand on a very high level. Now, if you're somebody that understands their business model on a super high level, send me a DM on IG if you're on IG, okay? I would love to hear other folks kind of break this one down super in depth. Also, you can feel free to leave me a YouTube comment if I'll go through the comments on this video. But you really got to understand this on a super high level, to really break down their business and the realistic TAM long term, not just like, well, there's $100 billion, so they're going to grab, like, what's the realistic numbers there? If somebody's watching this that's in my private stock group, just send me a Discord DM, but only send me it if you understand this business on an extremely high level. I'm talking like the 1% of the 1% understanding of this business model. I'd love to hear from you guys as always, okay? Alright guys, let's get into stock number 5 up here is Voyager Digital Ltd. Okay, this is an online brokerage mostly used for crypto at the moment. VYGVF is a ticker symbol on this one. It's a $15 stock, right around a $2 billion market cap, or just under a $2 billion market cap. And I'm about to show you growth that is going to blow your mind, okay? This might be the strongest growth I've ever seen that I'm about to show you right now, okay? And here it is. Look at that growth, guys, for 2021. They're expected to grow revenues 10,220%, okay? Oh my gosh, okay? Talk about growth that you just can't even like comprehend, all right, in the public markets. You never see companies growing like that. Like if you could see a company growing, 100%, 300%, that's like ridiculous, okay? In the public markets, usually companies have already, experienced rapid growth before they get in the public markets. So this one, 10,220% is just unreal, unheard of, okay? As far as 22 goes for this company, they're expected to have about 116% revenue growth, which is still ridiculous, right? It's not 10,000%, but 116% is still just downright insane, okay? And that's not it, okay? This company's already expected to be profitable in 21, expected to have 42 cents of profit. Are you kidding me, per share? And then 74 cents expected in 22. This, whoa, okay, whoa is all I got to say about this one, okay? This is why this one's intriguing me a lot, and this is why I'm looking into this one, because I'm looking at this company, I'm saying, wait a minute, they've got some of the most ridiculous growth I've ever seen in my life, and this business is already going to be profitable. That's not usually two things you get. You usually get insane growth with insane losses, or you get, huge profits with not much growth, right? It's very rare that you can get ridiculous growth along with ridiculous profits. So this is where I'm looking at the stock and I'm saying, it's interesting. And it's not just that, okay? Brian, who is one of our 7-figure coaches, man, that guy's a genius. Love that guy, okay? I had to give him his own Discord chat recently in the private group because he's so dang smart. He brought the stock to me months and months ago when this was like, let's just put it this way. It was a much, much cheaper stock than it is today. And I looked at it and I said, man, I don't know, Brian. I don't know, man. I didn't invest in it. Oh my gosh, am I kicking myself? I've seen, Brian's made some ridiculous money on this stock. I should have taken it a little more seriously when he brought it to me a few months ago. Dang, I'm kicking myself. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this still might be a phenomenal deal for a long-term shareholder like myself, man. When I'm looking at this company at like a $2 billion market cap, and I'm thinking where the long-term total addressable market is for this company, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. If we look at like the Play Store on Google and obviously the App Store for Apple, right, it gets pretty darn high ratings. It gets a 4.1 on Google Play, and on Apple, clearly there's even like an uptick there, okay, as far as like that product on that service, right? 4.8 out of 5 stars on the Apple iOS store, okay? I mean, we're talking about people clearly love that app. You don't get a 4.8 on 22,000 reviews unless people really, really enjoy your app and they think it's a great experience, right? And so that makes the stock very darn interesting. Also, this came out just a few weeks ago, Voyager Digital raises $100 million by closing private placement. So they've raised a ton of money. Look at these numbers, okay? December 2020, they had a $1.7 million roughly in revenue. February 2021, $20 million. I mean, we're talking about month-over-month growth that is just hard to even comprehend. Never mind year-over-year growth, but you're just looking at month-over-month. That's just ridiculous, okay? Look at this, okay? December 2020, net deposits of $28 million. Now $400 million. Assets under management of $230 million in December 2020. Now $1.7 billion. Oh my gosh, okay? Trades per day back in December was 6,500 on the platform. Now it's 70,000. New funded accounts in December 2020 was at 6,000. Now it's at 70,000. New verified users was at 36,000. Now it's at 190,000. That's the only number I thought was weird, because if you look, new verified users in January was 250,000, then 190,000. That was the only number I've seen so far with this company that seemed a little strange to me. So I'm going to have to look more in depth in that and see what exactly is going on there. But look at this, okay? Robinhood, this was last month, basically is signaling that they might have a valuation of $40 billion or so. There's a lot of talk that Robinhood could potentially go public in 2021, maybe the back half of the year. And there's some folks even thinking about $60 billion valuation for Robinhood. And you think about all the drama Robinhood's been in, and you think about all the bad stuff. I mean, if that company still has a valuation of 40 to 60 billion, I mean, the opportunity in front of a company like Voyager is just massive. So we'll see what happens over time with this one. I will continue to do my research and I'll keep you guys up to date on that one. Next stock up here, number 3 of 5 of these stocks that could be my next $1 million stock is ticker symbol HITIF. High Tide, okay? This is a pretty small cap company here today, about a $330 million market cap. And this one came on my radar very recently, okay? So when I bought into GGTTF a few weeks ago, a lot of people in my private group started messaging me about this stock and like, hey man, you should look into High Tide. This company is a beast as well, okay? And so look at this High Tide company. They obviously play in the Jack Jackson space. Look at this, okay? They just came out with results very recently. 166% increase in revenue and record adjusted EBITDA of $8 million. Look at these numbers by High Tide, okay? Revenue increased by 118% to $24.9 million in the fourth quarter of 2020 and by 166% to $83.3 million for the year ended October 31, 2020, okay? And those numbers don't include any contribution from the Meta Growth Corporation. The acquisition was closed at the end of the quarter. Gross profit increased by 112% in the fourth quarter and 172% for the year end. Gross profit in the fourth quarter was 35% and 37% for this fiscal year ended in October. Adjusted EBITDA for the company was 3.6 mil. You know, you're looking at these numbers and they're just darn impressive, okay? And this is what is interesting me about this, you know, potential investment here in High Tide. Now, the big question for me when it comes to the Jack Jackson space is how many stocks do I want to hold? Because keep in mind, I already am invested in 2 companies in the space, one being The Planet, okay? Ticker symbol PLNHF. They have superstores. They also have one smaller format store when they could build out a lot more smaller format stores, but they're really known for their superstores. They have huge potential brands in the future here with the gummy brands, chocolate brands, and even some flower brands and different products like that. They have, on their balance sheet right now, they should have about 9 figures of cash, okay? They have huge growth for the next decade expected in their U.S. focus. So I look at The Planet at about $1 billion market cap and I'm like, I'm happy I already own that stock, but why not maybe just potentially buy some more of that stock? And then I look at GTech Holdings, GGTTF, and I'm like, okay, that's a stock that's obviously in the high-end space. They're competing on the high end of product, you know, not just like the generic commodity-related Jack Jackson products that some of these other companies have. They have huge growth in Canada ahead of themselves. They have a very impressive CEO, and they have rapid, you know, growth just across the board, never mind what's going to happen over the next several years for them. And that's obviously a much smaller market cap at 127 million. And so I'm trying to figure out, you know, maybe this High Tide's a third stock I own in the space. Because remember, you know, although I have more work to do on this one, remember, I've made a prediction that I believe there's going to be multiple companies. By the end of this decade, by 2030, I think there's going to be multiple companies with $10 billion plus market caps on them in the Jack Jackson space. I think there's probably going to be 50 to 100 companies in this space by the end of this decade that have $1 billion or more market capitalization on them. I think this is going to be one of the bigger industries out there. And when I look at some of these stocks, I say, from a long-term investor standpoint, somebody likes to participate in stocks over the coming years, and I look at this industry that's massive, and it's just going to get a lot bigger over time. I look at a stock like High Tide, and I say, I have to take this one serious, and I have to really do my research work here and see if it makes sense to add a third stock in the space. I don't mind doing it. Look at the plant-based food space. That's something I'm super bullish on for the next decade, right? I own Beyond Meat, I own Very Good Food Company, and I own Tattooed Chef, all different size companies. Maybe I do a very similar thing here in the Jack Jackson space. Time will tell with that one. If you have a bull thesis on High Tide, let me know what it is in the comment section, or you shoot me a DM on Instagram, or if you're in the private group and you understand the stock on a high level, just put it in the MJ or MJ chat. I'll read through those tonight, okay? Stock number 4 or 5 up here of these stocks is ticker symbol BIGC, Big Commerce Holdings. It's a $58 stock here today, market capitalization of about $4.2 billion, and look at its 52-week range and where this stock is trading at right now. This is clearly a beaten down dog stock right now, okay? I mean, it's trading at anywhere from $57 to $60 here a day. Its 52-week range is between $51 and $162. So, I mean, if we got any real weakness in the market in the short term, I wouldn't be surprised if this stock fell to its 52-week low, if not below that, okay? And so this is where things get interesting with a stock like this. It has very nice growth, okay? Current year, expect to have 25% sales growth. Remember, this is in one of those industries of obviously like e-commerce that, people will pay hefty valuations for them because they just look at these business models as being some of the most special you're going to be able to find out there. Software business models, recurring revenue streams, things like that. People definitely pay up for these, okay? You look at 22, expect to have 23% revenue growth in 2022. And also, when it comes to this company, they're expected to make some great progress as far as their losses go. So this past year, they lost 79 cents EPS on the bottom line. They're expected to only lose 45 cents upcoming year. And then they're supposed to get that down to 25 cents in 2022, okay? Now, when it comes to big commerce, okay, from my understanding, based upon the research I've done in this company, they're not going to be the next Shopify, okay? And so I think folks, if they're looking into this company, including myself, I don't think we should look at it through the lens of like, this is the next Shopify. And they're going to compete with Shopify because it's not really, okay? Big commerce has some advantages that maybe Shopify doesn't have with certain other customers, but Shopify is really that e-commerce play that's for the masses, right? Similar to like Amazon. I look at like this big commerce as a little more of a niche player in the market. And so can this company ever have a $133 billion market cap? Maybe, but I doubt it, okay? I doubt it's going to where Shopify is over time. But at the end of the day, can this company have a very nice niche where they have a $10 to $20 billion market cap, 5-10 years? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm not trying to look at this through the lens as this is the next Shopify and I'm going to 20x, 30x my money. I'm trying to figure out if big commerce is a potential double up, triple up, quadruple up type stock over the next 5-10 years. Because if it is, then I'm very interested in the stock, right? And so I'm trying to figure out not just what the TAM is for big commerce, but what's the realistic TAM for big commerce overall. Very similar to how I'm looking into Palantir. I'm thinking about not just what the TAM is, but what's the realistic TAM opportunity for Palantir. What is it here with big commerce, okay? So we'll see. I've heard some very good things about this big commerce company from some folks that know a lot about e-commerce. And so I got more work to do with big commerce overall, but I gotta say, it's somewhat exciting, okay? Last stock up here, number 5 of these stocks, that could be my next $1 million stock, is ticker symbol RKT, Rocket Companies. This stock's about $25 here today, about a $50 billion market cap, just over $50 billion. This stock was in the news just about a week or two ago because the stock essentially had a crazy short seller situation where the stock just went absolutely nuts and like this short squeeze. Next thing you know, it was trading at like $41. I think it got all the way up to $43 at the high or something like that, okay? It just went absolute craziness and then it came down almost in a straight line. And here today, it's about $25, $26, okay? And this Rocket Company, okay, it has me very intrigued, but I gotta say, this is one of the more confusing stocks I've looked into in trying to figure out if I'm getting a great deal and the stock is as cheap as dirt, or if I'm way overpaying for this company. And that's what I'm trying to figure out here with this rocket companies, okay? So the forward P in the stock is 9.9. Now you look at that and you say, this seems insanely cheap, okay? This seems like the best deal in the world, like buy. But then you go ahead and you look at revenue expectations for 21 and 22, and things get a little scary, okay? They're expected to have revenues go down 25% in 2021. I mean, every analyst pretty much out there expects this company to have, almost every analyst expects this company to have declining revenues. But on average, they expect revenue to go down 25%, okay? And I definitely expect their revenues to go down in this year. I don't think, especially in the back half of this year, especially if mortgage rates continue to climb, they just pulled forward a lot of demand for not just mortgages, but refinances, okay? And so that's a scary number when you see 25% decline. Also in 22, they're not expected to get back to growth either that year. They're expected to have revenues go down almost 16%. I mean, those are two massive numbers here. And this is where things get very confusing for me when it comes to this stock. Trying to figure out, am I getting a great deal in the stock or am I getting ripped off? And so let's take this last stock to the whiteboard of justice, okay? And let's kind of break this down. So insane growth for this company in 2020, like insane, unbelievable growth they had, okay? Revenues to the sky, profitability going crazy, everything lined up. All of a sudden, everybody cares about their house more than ever, and the real estate market's really strong. Mortgage rates went to the lowest we've ever seen them ever, okay? And all of a sudden, you had everybody out there refinancing. I think I refinanced, one of my houses I refinanced twice in the same year. Okay, that's just how ridiculous this is, okay? And so, a ton of pull forward demand, revenue went insane, but massive revenue and profit shrink expected in 2021 and 2022 for this company. And so this company seems, I mean, when I look at this rocket company, I feel like this is going to be a business model that's going to be much more relevant in 5 years from now than it is today. And this is where things get really interesting, right? Much more relevant in 5 years than it is today, but confusing because they grew like insane. Now they're supposed to expect like massive shrink. And so it looks cheap. This company looks cheap as dirt, but it feels expensive. It feels expensive when you look at the fact that they're supposed to have revenues go down 25% this year and another 16% roughly next year. That's where things are getting really confusing here. And so what I'm trying to figure out with Rocket right now is what is the long-term sustainable revenue for this company and the long-term sustainable net income for this company. That's what I'm trying to figure out. This is a very confusing stock. This is not for the faint of heart, okay? This is not for people that don't know how to value companies. This is one of those you really have to know how to value companies on a very high level to understand if you're getting ripped off in the stock buying it at $50 billion, or if you're getting actually an insane deal and this is going to be a $100 billion, $200 billion company in future years, okay? So I got more work to do here, but specifically around valuation for this company. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, hope you got a tremendous amount of value out of it, me looking at some of these stocks out there. If you're looking to understand everything I look for in stocks, be part of our private Discord chat, all those sorts of things. We've been able to help tons of people out there get to 6 figures, 7 figures, and plus in their accounts. The first link in the description down there is absolutely to apply for my private stock group. I'll also have it linked in the description. If you don't mind, smash a thumbs up before you leave. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.